We all have skin texture. We are human beings. And there are so many things, though, that I have discovered that work for my skin in the past few years that I wish they would have had years ago, because I definitely have texture. I had acne for many, many years, and I have enlarged pores. I had oily skin. Right now, my skin is on the normal side, but I've had very dry skin too from skincare. So I can relate on all levels. So I want to share with you some things that I do to keep my texture to a minimum. If you love affordable beauty, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I love Milani, and when it said no pore zone, they had me. I wanted to try it. Now, this is a silicone primer. It reminds me so much of one I've used from Too Faced. This is so affordable. I love the way it fills my pores, smooths them out. This is a silicone primer. Now, one of you asked, do I bring primer under the eyes? I usually don't, but when I use a silicone primer, I tend to, because I'm watching as everything's filling up and smoothing out, and I go, oh, I need some more here and here, and I just start blending it up. But I love this primer. I think it really smooths out the skin and makes my makeup look much more flawless. Let's talk about makeup application. I love cushion foundation. I have fallen back in love with it, and I've made my own. What I realized is it wasn't the actual foundation that was in the cushions that I was buying. It was the method I was using to apply it, the actual cushion itself. So I bought a cushion off of Amazon recently, and what I did was you just take the sponge out here like this, and then you put in your own foundation, something you already know matches your skin. That's the problem I always had when I would order like the Misha foundation. It would always come and it might match my skin for a while, but because the shade was so light, and it was they only had two shades, but the darkest one was too light. And then once I got a little bit of sun, it didn't match anymore. I almost had to use it like a concealer because otherwise it wasn't going to be used. So what I did was took the Catrice. This is their new True Skin foundation in the shade Neutral Sand is my shade. I just take it, squirt some into the cushion. It's basically an open plastic container. Here is the cushion, and then you just lay the cushion back in like that. And then you have the exact foundation that you like. So many of the makeup artists that I have watched using the cushion, they just take the cushion that comes with it. You can also buy these separate. I bought a container of them separate so I can keep them clean. But you just press in lightly and then go in circles on the skin, just like this. Very lightly, like a feather touch. And this is great for touch-ups too. What I love is I can take, if I see I've got any of my foundation wearing away, I can just take a little bit on it and just touch up. And it won't get thick like it would if I was doing it with a makeup brush or even a beauty blender. This just gives such light, beautiful coverage. It's great for my mature skin because I have fine lines. And sometimes when I apply with brushes, foundation will get caught here in the lines next to my nose. But with this doesn't happen because I'm applying so little. So this is my favorite way to apply foundation that does not accentuate texture. For concealer, I love the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Brightener. It really lightens up my eyes. I have deep set eyes. I get very dark in the inner and outer corner of the eye. And I can just take this. Now, I have another application tool that I love. It's this soft sponge. Now, this is hand washable. It does amazing for applying the concealer or my foundation. This is something more recent that I've been trying. There have been other products like this on the market. This is so reasonable. And I just take and dab like this in the inner and outer corner. I like this sort of pizza shape because I can really get into these corners that I have that are so deep. But I don't even apply powder there. It gives me excellent coverage without accentuating texture. For brushes, I love these Do Care brushes. Now, I have used this for foundation. If I was wanting a much heavier coverage of foundation for any reason, this works great. I still feel the cushion gives you a thinner look on the skin than you can get with any brush. But I like these for powder. This one especially that's angled, I like to use for doing blush or bronzer. Now, something different I've been doing that I really love is using the Revlon blurring powder in the shade Medium Deep as a blush slash bronzer. This has a matte finish to it with a little tiny bit of luminosity. So I just go into this and go right on to the cheek. And I just think this is so beautiful. Now, these brushes I would put against any high-end brushes. I've had some of you ask me how I clean them. I do just wash them and lay them flat to dry. The way these blend is just absolutely beautiful. I bring this down onto my neck. We definitely get texture on our neck. I know a lot of people have asked me what I do for the neck. Well, for texture, I use this exfoliating gel to get that all cleaned up. And then I love using my cacao oil. I use this all over my face. Now, I would not apply this the same night as I exfoliate. My skin is way too sensitive. But on another night, a couple of nights, maybe 3 nights a week, I use the cacao oil on my face. I use it on my neck. I feel it's really tight in my neck, help with texture, and it's definitely helped with texture on my face. I've talked about the Can Make marshmallow powder so many times. I love that for not showing texture. I think it really blurs the pores and looks great in the T-zone. Another one I found recently is this Revlon blurring powder. I don't hear anyone talk about this, I guess because it's an older product, but man, it works great. I love it. I take that little pizza sponge that I just showed you, dab into it, get some on here. Now you can use these for foundation, anything, and you just wash them. You hand wash them. But I just go right in the skin very lightly and press, and it gives such a beautiful look to the skin. So much less messy than brushes too. And this way I can really target the powder where I want it. I find when you use a brush all over the face, you get powder everywhere. I don't really want to apply so much powder here. This part of the face really goes undisturbed most of the day. I think, you know, I might wipe my nose or rub my nose from allergies or rub under the eye and the makeup's getting rubbed off. But I really think this area of the face, the jawline, gets touched very little. So I don't mess with powder too much there. I just put it in the T-zone, and I think this Revlon blurring powder is excellent. Finally, to finish, I think that a setting spray is really important because it helps sort of just melt the makeup in. You don't see powder laying on the surface of the skin. I love this one from e.l.f. It's so inexpensive. Now, I've looked at the ingredients so many times and it does not have alcohol in it, this one. Now, they make other setting sprays that do have alcohol, but this is their original makeup mist and set. I just spray like this. I love it. And it just really helps the makeup to melt into the skin and shows less texture. Linda Costa is a longtime viewer, and she asked me last week, she said, I have a question for you. Have you ever done a perfume dupe video? I have never seen one, but may have missed it. I would love one for Bright Crystal by Versace. I've never tried Bright Crystal. If any of you have, please put in the comments, especially if you know a dupe. I just haven't used enough perfume where I could do a dupe video. I think you sort of have to be a perfume connoisseur to do something like that. But I'll tell you, I do love some drugstore perfume. The CoverGirl, the Pure Blast, and the other CoverGirl perfumes that just came out a few months ago, I have been using those all the time. They are at such a great price point. Another favorite of mine, I love the smell of perfume where it smells like food. In other words, vanilla or caramel. Pink Sugar is a perfume I have used for years. I love anything with a vanilla scent to it or caramel. So I wouldn't call myself a perfume expert, but I do love perfume. If any of you have any perfume you think I should try that are in that scent type of line, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Lori28 said, could you do a video on how to layer skincare to avoid the peeling? Oh, the peeling. I have had it before. I think, Lori, the best bet if you have issues with peeling is getting a moisturizer and sunscreen that is a gel. Gels don't seem to peel if you give them about 5 to 8 minutes to dry. I think the peeling comes from layering too many heavy products. These heavier products sometimes will sit on the skin, and then when you put foundation on, I've noticed myself as I'm putting it on or patting it in, it's pulling off the foundation. So it can just end up being a real mess, but I found that gel products work excellent. I do want to give one update. It has been a month since I started on this eyelash serum, and I told you I would give you an update each month as I'm going along. It is working fantastic. I haven't noticed a lot of growth in my brows, but my lashes are definitely longer. They are actually hitting the top here of my eye. They're touching that, and they were not doing that before. I am also loving the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. I used that for a long time, and I just went back to it. I thought I haven't used that in so long. I was wondering if it would give more volume to my lashes, and it really does. I'm loving that. That's around $5. But I will give you an update in a month. I know for Kimberly at Pretty Over 50, she said the results of the eyelash serum really kicked in around the 3rd month. I've only finished 1 month and I'm seeing results so far. So I'm very excited to see what is ahead 2 months from now. I ordered this for my mom. She's trying it out. She's a couple weeks behind me, so I'll sort of tell you how she's saying she's doing with it, but I am really loving it so far. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. I'm so excited you're here, and we have a giveaway. The winner of last week's giveaway is in the first pinned comment. This week, talking about Milani, I have this Milani palette. It is their Gilded Violet. It's such a beautiful palette. And then a brush. This is one I love from Real Techniques. I never hear anyone talk about these brushes. They're called Easy as 123. This is the powder brush. They are super soft. They really blend out powders beautifully. I actually went and bought a second one because I liked it so much. So if you're interested, just leave a comment, and I hope you'll have an amazing week.